Bună ziua, good afternoon. I think it's already an afternoon. Barior, because we had to also mention it in Armenian because we're at the Armenian Street Festival. And as you already saw in our schedule, this is going to be a session in English because we have international guests at this panel. First of all, thank you for taking your time to be at our Armenian Street Festival. This is our 9th edition of sharing the Armenian love with our local Romanians that have welcomed us with their big arms open and their hearts ready to accept some of our Armenianness here on their wonderful lands. And we are deeply grateful to you all for welcoming us and allowing Armenians to exist, to create, love, and share their passion and culture with you all. We're deeply grateful historically because Romania has always been one of the countries, the first ones in the world to welcome Armenian refugees, especially after the Armenian genocide in 1915. But the Armenians in Romania have the first areas, actually the first notes where Armenians are mentioned in historical writings in Romania. Armenians date back to the 900s. And the first colony of Armenians was established in Romania around in the 10th century. So we have been here in Romania for over 1,000 years. So yeah, this session is called Roots Beyond Borders. I will be your moderator today. I'm Danielyan. I'm one of the people that has been co-founding, co-loving, co-creating and organizing this event since it started 9 years ago. And we're very, very excited to have this panel here today. First of all, the idea behind this talk session was the fact that we wanted to highlight some of our guests that have arrived from the diaspora to the festival, and this whole idea was born from the idea that the High Commissioner's Office of Diaspora Affairs of the government of Armenia, because we have around 3 million Armenians living in Armenia, but we have over 8 million Armenians living in the diaspora. So definitely there is a part of the government that's in touch with this huge diaspora around the world. And because we have one of the oldest communities in the world here in Romania, we were lucky to also have a representative, and I was the lucky one to represent the Romanian community and obviously the Romanian culture with our community at this project that's called Diaspora Youth Ambassador. And for the first time, Romania had a representative from our community. I was the lucky one to represent us. And today, I'm extremely happy to have 3 of the other representatives to this wonderful program, which is pretty much a 2-week power course in Armenia, in which people among hundreds of youth from the diaspora leaders are applying to this program, and they select around 20 people to represent different communities from around the world. And we were the generation of 2024, and at the end of August we are finishing our work. So we are lucky to be our last project before we finish our work as diaspora youth ambassadors in Europe and all around the world. And my guests in this afternoon, in the order that I have now, is there in front of me, lovely Silva Sahakyan, who is a legal expert and consultant in international and European affairs, advising the French regional governors on global cooperation and inclusion, and especially with the affairs related also to Armenia.
Yeah.
I will give you also the chance to briefly introduce yourselves, but let me first go through the entire panel. Our second guest, and also, I did forget, obviously, as one should, to mention that Silvia is the Diaspora Youth Ambassador of France representing Paris. Our second guest is Ruzanna Grigoryan, the Diaspora Youth Ambassador from Latvia, Riga, and she's a public servant in the Latvian government with a background in international economic relations and actively working in intersection of civil engagement and diaspora diplomacy. Welcome, Ruzanna. And our third guest for this panel is Manushak Danielyan, who is a sociology lecturer at Landshut. Yeah, I said I'm not definitely going to mention that one in German perfectly. Who is specialized in social and psychological crises and diversity management. And she's the representative of München. So she's the Diaspora Youth Ambassador from Germany, representing the community from München. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting us.
It's my pleasure to have you here. I will give you, ladies, a few seconds to briefly introduce what you do in your communities and what organizations you represent. And after that, I will start with some quick fire questions because I know that because last night one of our artists actually managed to lose their flight. That's what it means to have guests from other countries. They couldn't perform on our stage, so we're gonna have them tonight, which means that soon we're gonna have music in the background, but we will do our best to have background sound and also some hopefully useful information during this session. So Silva, would you like to start?
Thank you. Bonjour. Barete, salud. So I'm Silva. I am the General Secretary of an association called Groupement Interprofessionnel International Arménien in France that exists since more than 50 years. You may know that in France, the Armenian community, as I can see in Romania, is quite old and structured. We have many associations. So our main goal is to gather people through their work expertise. So we do mainly business-related events and connections afterwards. And the goals for the future are to gather more and more youth, the youth of our friends in Armenian youth in France, to gather them and to create this next generation of diasporan living in France. So yeah, that's the main aim through the program also as well. And as part of my professional life, I follow the link between French and Armenian local authorities that create some bonding through partnerships. And that's how I managed to, as a person, to work for Armenia through my work and through my civil society engagement.
Thank you. Thank you. Ruzanna Jan?
Yes, I'm Ruzanna from Riga, from Latvia. Salud. And I'm very glad and very honored that Hrant has invited us to join this great fest because I have heard about it. I have heard a lot about Romanian Armenians. And it's my pleasure to be here. I'm walking around and getting a lot of information for a possible experience exchange in future. But nevertheless, I'm representing a young organization of Armenians in Latvia. It's called Armenian Unity of Latvia. It was established a few years ago by an initiative of Armenian Church of Riga. But still, I cannot compare our diaspora, none with the quantity or with the history, with Romania or Germany or France. We are quite young one. And that's why we have organized our organization. We are trying to make the awareness between Latvians about Armenian at the highest level. So all Latvians now do know that we have church, we have long history and so on. And of course, we are trying to engage all of the Armenians of Latvia and why not Baltic states as well. Thanks a lot, and I wish us very successful talks.
Thank you. Manushak, would you like to go next?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Schönen guten Tag. I'm Manushak, coming from Munich, Bavaria. So I guess a little bit information regarding my community work. I'm representing the Armenian community throughout Bavaria. And the second organization that I'm representing is die Germanische Gesellschaft für soziale Zusammenhang. It's like shortly organization working to build German-Armenian social relations. With the first organization, we're trying to keep the community gathered in throughout Bavaria. And our community school is, by the way, the biggest one in Germany. We have more than 80 pupils. At the moment, we have different things like chess, dancing, and different offers for the kids to really stay bonded to the community. With the second organization, we're mainly gathering the funds and organizing some things in Armenia. Our main directions are, for example, rebuilding the medical points in villages next to the borders, Armenian borders, because the medical points are not in a good condition. And the second main direction is the promotion of education, because we strongly believe that education is the base of each society. And we really try to promote like the Armenian kids from the young age to be really informed and to have, to understand how important an education is for themselves and for their countries.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So now that we have at least an overview of what our panelists are doing in their communities, I would like to go into more personal questions. First thing, I would like to know, were all of you born in Armenia and then moved to your current countries, or... Please, I'm really curious because that's a really important thing with, first of all, understanding the depth of our identity in the communities that we all represent. So maybe a few words about how you ended up, or yeah.
The road to France for Armenian is quite natural, actually, as there are many Armenians already living there. My story is a bit different. I was born in Novosibirsk in Russia. Then we moved when I was 6 in France. I grew up in a small city called Grenoble, where there was already a little small community of Armenians. And then I studied in Germany, came back to Lyon, and now living in Paris. So it has been, I'm 30 years old, so I'm very bad at math.
Same, so we don't judge. We listen and we don't judge.
Maybe we have more than 25 years that I'm living in France-ish, yeah.
Ruzanna?
Actually, I was born in Latvia. It somehow happened. I won't tell how long time ago I was born, but there are no Russian roots or some places. But nevertheless, and I was born and raised in Latvia, and Latvia gave me all the opportunity to study and to get some professional experience and advantage, but always in my family we have talked about our Armenian roots, and of course Armenian language was the first one.
Okay. Manushak?
So I say I'm the exception from the rules. I was actually born in Armenia during the earthquake. So you can count how old I am. I'm not telling it.
Yeah.
If someone is curious, just check when was the earthquake in Armenia. Yeah. So I was born in Armenia and I moved to Germany after doing my bachelor's and master's in political sciences in Armenia. And then I moved to Germany to continue my studies about 13 years ago. And the first 3 years, I was not connected to any Armenian organization at all. And after that, it somehow started all of a sudden. I wanted to do everything because I was observing the gaps. And I was really eager to be able to somehow to support, to refill the gaps.
Okay. You mentioned that you were born in Armenia, and because Sylvia, we already discovered that she was born in Russia, and you were born in Latvia. So I will even out the panel. I was born in Armenia. Yeah, so we're 50-50, like to keep things equal. Yeah, democracy, but I'm happy that women are quantity-wise more on this panel, and I'm sure expertise-wise you're also overly qualified over my creative things that I'm doing. So I'm very proud to have this gender unbalanced on the good side of the balance. Yes, the beautiful side, and also the smart side.
And if I may add, I was so surprised, but I was like when I saw this place with all Armenian ladies, the strong ladies who has shaped history, who has shaped science and I don't know art and so on, and I just I like all the traditions. Of course, I enjoyed this stand, this place a lot because we've got a lot of Armenian strong women, and I guess they are very encouraging such ladies as us as well.
Yeah, Ruzanna was mentioning probably the exhibition that you probably managed to see at the entrance of the festival next to the fair area that we have, which is called Revolutionary Armenian Women That Have Changed the World. And one of them actually is from Romania, is Ana Aslan, which probably local Romanians do know. She was the one that founded the Institute of Gerontology. So we're very, very blessed that Armenians were allowed to share also their knowledge with the Romanian people, and we ended up having a common treasure with the Romanians. So yeah, it's a very it was important to check because we often as Armenians. First of all, I'd like to mention, yeah, I moved to Romania because I forgot to mention when I was 3. On our way to Romania, we fled after the war between Armenia and Azerbaijan started, and my dad was very close to being taken to war, and because he already had 2 kids, it was a very risky move to leave mom behind with 2 kids. So although historically from the genocide, my ancestors moved to Romania, they were welcome here. Somehow destiny brought us back here in the 90s after the war was over, but the situation was pretty unstable. And one thing kept on trying to mention, but I forgot you. I'm amazed by how well all of you speak Armenian because the language issue is a very, very strong one throughout the diaspora. And it's interesting because Silva's born somewhere else but moved to France, and Manushak to Germany, which both have pretty big communities. But I know Latvia has a very small community. And when I found out that you were not born in Armenia and you were born in a very small community environment, I was very surprised by how excellent your Armenian is. So I really wanted to highlight your Armenian skills, Ruzanna. I'm very, very impressed. Yeah, to go more in a more personal, emotional depth of this conversation about identity, I'd like to go on with the next question, which is, what does being Armenian mean to each one of you? Yeah, I'm sorry if things get emotional because it's very hard to talk about your identity without actually channeling the good and the bad that history has brought upon us. Sylvia, what does Armenian?
I would say almost all my life. I grew up away from homeland. I dedicated somehow much of my time to it through action, personal actions, through work. And by the way, at my workplace, there's this joke that like I can't spend a day without speaking about Armenia.
Same, same.
Same. And then I feel like that's true because if you take this topic away from me, I feel like half of me doesn't exist anymore. So it's quite every day of my life is the way I speak, it's the way I laugh, it's the way I communicate with others. it shapes me and it shapes my everyday life being Armenian in France. And I'm very lucky to be in France because I know other Armenians in other countries cannot live the same way as I do freely as an Armenian person living in France. So yeah, I would say almost everything. And what I found most comforting also is that I can find some places, some pieces of homeland outside of Armenia, such as here in Bucharest. The first time I came 3 years ago, I didn't know you at that time, but I went directly to the Armenian church because I knew that was somehow this place is familiar to me because it's Armenian, and it happens a lot every time I travel. I try to find some places, and that's how I feel Armenia. I'm related to Armenia and what that feels to me. It's home away from home, everyday life in my everyday life.
Thank you. Just to add something to what you mentioned the fact that you arrived to Bucharest and you went to the church. It's very interesting because as a modern society of 2025, we constantly ask ourselves what's the role of the church in our communities, and we see more and more disconnection between faith because we're getting very globalized as humanity overall. Around the world, but for Armenians, it's very, very hard to separate our identity from our faith because wherever you go, you literally have to find the Armenian church, and you do know that that's the place where you're gonna find Armenians because pretty much all over the world, that has been the ABC of being Armenian. Wherever we landed, the first thing we did is we built a church to preserve our faith, and the second thing was building a school to continue educating our people. So thank you for highlighting that, and it's living proof that it's very hard to exist in the diaspora without actually having a connection with also our faith, which is part of our identity from a lot of points of view. Ruzanna Jan, what does being Armenian mean to you in 2025?
Yes, being Armenian for me, it means that 24 hours per 7, I'm always thinking about Armenia. Of course, Armenia is my historic motherland, and I was born in Latvia, but I feel like Armenia is my home too, and I feel like Latvia is my home too as well. But what does it mean for me to be an Armenian? First of all, it was the intention of my parents to speak Armenian and to learn speaking Armenian was like it is our secret language and nobody will understand us when we talk with each other. So when I was a kid, we were talking in Armenian in Latvia, so no one was understanding us. And once we arrived to Armenia, we were talking Latvian, so no one was understanding us in Armenia as well. And also I was a kid who was asking in the kindergarten, the other kids, other friends, what is your nationality? And actually they were surprised. We were like 5 years old and I was telling them, I am Armenian. My dad, my mom, they are from Armenia. They arrived to Latvia, but where are your parents from? And they like, we don't know, probably, I don't know, maybe I am from Latvia or maybe I'm from Russia, I don't know. And actually they came to their parents and they came back next day or I don't know, within 1 week and they started to tell, actually we realized we are, I don't know, Ukrainians or from Belarus or something like that. So I feel that with my question when I was like 5 years old kid, I just motivated those other kids to think about their genes, about their code, and about their nationality as well. And I guess it is important too.
Thank you for sharing. Every time you all mention something comes to my mind, and I want to share something funny because my brother and I both share almost the same age. It's like an 11-month difference. My parents were very patient about enriching the Armenian population, so we were literally made to be in the same. We went to school, and we were from the first grade till we graduated in the same classroom. So you mentioned about about being able to be in Armenia and talking Latvian, and being in Latvia and talking in Armenian without others understanding. And I was very bad at math growing up, and I'm very bad at math. And my brother was bad at other things. So whenever we went to school in Romania, I remember every time we were asked to go to answer to something at the big board, he would go there and I would stay in the back. And if it was something I was good at, every time he would be up there, I would start singing in Armenian like I'm crazy. And I was like, "E patru plus șapte, vezi că ai greșit." And I was singing in Armenian in the back of the class. And everybody was like, "Could you please shut up? We're in the middle." I'm so sorry. I was really inspired by this lesson to start singing in something off topic. And they never realized that we were actually helping each other by just literally singing in Armenian the answers to the question that the teachers were throwing at us. Manushak Jan, can you please share us what does it mean being Armenian in Germany in 2025?
It's very hard being Armenian in Germany, by the way.
The struggle is real.
Yes, I'm not mentioning the aspects why it is hard. However, actually, since we're here taking part into at this festival, we're all the time talking about it, discussing what is it to be Armenian or to feel Armenian. And there is not a single clear definition of an Armenian identity, how it is to be like. But I guess the simplest thing is to say you just breathe Armenian. It's like how you feel inside, what moral values you have, and what is the meaning of Armenia for you. Because I'm coming from Armenia, actually, I've noticed that people, especially coming from Armenia during the last years, they don't have this strong thinking of being a part of a diaspora and trying all their best to preserve the Armenian culture and language. But I don't know why I have this like very strongly in me everywhere. By the way, also in my case, the first thing in every country to find an Armenian church, to find anything that is Armenian, street, anything, and an Armenian restaurant, of course, a very important thing. Yeah, I mean, I will really complete it also with just a small expression. It is an Armenian identity is when you just breathe Armenian.
Okay, thank you. Very, very deep.
And what does it mean to be Armenian for you?
Oh wow. It's honestly, it might sound sad, but every time I talk about my identity, I'm very, very well aware of everything it means, with the good and the bad, and it's a constant struggle to actually find hope and power to push through all the knowledge of knowing the hardships that Armenia has endured historically and the things that the country is going through now, surrounded by a very, very rich, diverse, and culturally endowed region, but with problematic neighbors, let's call them like that abstractly, because we have the Republic of Turkey on our left, with whom, because of our historical events, we don't have, we share a border with, but we do not have diplomatic ties, and there is no passage through the border, which blocks Armenia's growth economically, because it means that we have to go all the way around Turkey to reach, for example, for economic bloom, to reach to Europe. We have Azerbaijan on our right, who literally ethnically cleansed Armenian indigenous lands in 2023 and 2020. So, and then we have Georgia and Iran, and surprisingly, one of the countries out of these two with whom we're doing pretty fine is also Iran. Georgia is fine too, but we're slightly stuck there, and it's very hard to teleport us out of that region. And we love our land so much. And I always say that being Armenian is a very, very hard task. If you fully want to identify as an Armenian, you have to really, really be ready to sit there with all the pain and understand that for us, it's literally a responsibility to carry on all the heritage that our ancestors had to carry with them through very, very hard times. So sometimes I say, if you really want to feel Armenian and say that you're fully Armenian, you should be ready to sacrifice a part of your mental health, stability, life, and time to actually continue with the legacy. My great great grandmother went through the deserts of Syria carrying a baby in her belly and another one in her arms, trying to survive the genocide, and she never stopped walking till she was survived. She was literally taken over by her family that bribed the Ottoman army with gold to rescue her from the death marches. And when I think about the sacrifices that those women and men had to do for me to live in such a wonderful country in peace, I have such a huge guilt whenever I feel tired or mentally drained. And I constantly remind myself that I'm not allowed to be tired. I'm not allowed to say that I can't do this anymore. I'm not allowed to say that my everyday job is too much to handle. I always have to find time for my Armenian roots because I know that others have sacrificed so much for me to actually exist here today and be able to share this information with you all. Yeah, sorry for the long answer. My next question would be, Manushak already gave us a glimpse of what her answer might be, but my next question was gonna be that we always struggle in diaspora with the assimilation problem, with the globalization problem, with the fact that we're living in different cultures, beautiful cultures, and without us realizing, we get absorbed, and it's like a mirage of all the wonderful things that we have around us, and we just get lost in this beauty that's welcoming us to live in their own countries, such as Romania for myself. And my question is, what's your one ritual or thing you do that always roots you back to being Armenian, like that refresh, that something that takes you back to, what's that thing that always gets you in your Armenian mood?
To me, it would be to bring the food my grandma prepared at my workplace, and share it always. Because, first of all, fresh people are very curious, which is a good thing, and they want to try it all. So I bring some Armenian specialties, and actually, it's a fun fact, but the main point would be to share. When I arrive to share something, I feel like this is a ritual. This is something deeply connected to my roots, because we tend to see sometimes that it's not common value for everyone. And to be able to give to others, I feel like that's the part of my Armenianness that I share with non-Armenians, and that also keeps me Armenian outside of Armenia.
Nice, thank you. Food, yeah.
Food.
Yep. Ruzanna?
Actually, can you
The question?
Yeah, once again.
What's your ritual? What's that thing that you always like to do to ground yourself, go back to basics of your Armenian identity?
It's the music. It's definitely Spotify list, and I'm so glad that I have an opportunity to listen any Armenian music, because when I was a kid, of course, our trips to Armenia were very rare, like once per 5 year, and we were buying all those VHS CDs,
Cassettes,
not CDs,
cassettes,
cassettes. Yeah, cassettes. Yes, I'm a little older. So we were buying all them with movies or cartoons, and for me it was like sitting all day around watching all those movies and animated movies speaking Armenian. Even I didn't understand what they were talking about. It was like something from the childhood. And today I'm also listening the music, me and my kid. And as I mentioned, I'm representing the Armenian Unity of Latvia organization. And every week we meet for our coordination meetings. And I feel always that it is my Armenian ritual. I know that every Thursday evening we are meeting at the office or, I don't know, in so many places in Riga. And we discuss some Armenian stuff, Armenian things, or some organizational issues. And I know that that's the day when I'm fully dedicated to Armenia as well.
Amazing, amazing. Silva, you want to add something?
No.
So, Manushak Jan?
Yeah, actually, my rituals are pretty similar to yours. And instead of Thursday, we have it on Friday. So every Friday, we're gathering, having usually Armenian food. And they're allowed, of course, to come not only Armenians, but also foreigners. And the Armenian music in the morning. And of course, I guess every time, the very important thing bringing me to my roots back is the family. So talking to them every single day is one of the main things.
Yeah, Armenians are very tribal people. I always say that I don't want to constantly go back to the historical traumas because this session is feeling like a collective trauma healing session. But yeah, it's your master's degree. I'm sorry, Manushak, for reaching deep in those traumas. I would like each one of you to highlight one project that you do in your community that you feel like it represents your community's special thing. It can be anything that you do, and you also. I would like also you to feel free to talk about any variety of projects because I do know that you're all coming from diverse backgrounds. Well, probably you two have more in common with the working with the government, but Manushak is, I know you have more of a sociological psychology background. So I'm really happy to hear about one project that you do in your communities that you find like it works, it's successful, and it's something that I don't know, maybe very representative for your community. Because I'm definitely gonna mention. I don't even have to mention. It's the Armenian Street Festival that we yearly come back to, and that's I'm not even gonna talk about this question. I'll let you ladies address this.
First of all, the festival is very inspirational for us. I guess I can speak on behalf of us three. It's very inspirational. We do things in France a lot. We have many cities where there are many Armenians. So as I will talk only about Paris right now, and just in Paris there might be more than 100 associations, and they all do an amazing work. Sometimes I have to say the truth, we don't get along, but our mission as a new generation is to try to gather everyone beside their political ideas, their beliefs and whatever. We want to gather everyone around one topic, Armenia. So lately we have organized a youth forum for Armenians in Europe and especially in France, for them to know how to invest in Armenia, how to create your own startup, how to move back there, how to participate with diverse programs, how to find a job in a ministry. And we managed to do that with the help of the French local authorities as well and members of the EU Parliament, which means this is the highlight of what we are doing, is to promote the collaboration with Armenia throughout our everyday life. As a student, as a newly graduated person who wants to get some experience, professional experience in Armenia, as someone who creates startups and want to invest there. What was interesting is that not only Armenians came, but also French people. Still, we really have no issues with them knowing about Armenia, of course, because we are lucky to have Charles Aznavour.
We are lucky to have him too, although he's famously yours.
We do share this too.
You already mentioned that you love sharing your
That's
grandma's
why.
food, so we're all happy to share
I will happy to
Aznavour.
share Aznavour as well. So yeah, I would say this is the new objectives for the years upcoming years for the diaspora, because we already did the work that has to get to French people to know Armenia, Armenian culture. I mean, we don't have that problems. Even that, on the diplomatic matter, the president is well aware and quite active. So our main goal now is to gather the new generations and to help them live as Armenians, to practice Armenian, to go to Armenia, and more and more to get more and more ties with Armenia itself directly as a young person.
Thank you. Ruzanna, Manushak, which one of you wants to start?
Probably I will continue as, of course, I'm overwhelmed with the experience of Silva, France, and Manushak, Germany, and of course Romania. I'm feeling like you are my big sisters and brother, that I can get a lot of experience, and I'm really sucking it, and looking forward once I'm back to Riga to start continuing creating some projects. But I will mention once again that in the numbers there are approximately 3,000 of Armenians living in Latvia, but they are very shy. They are not so active in the community life, and we created a tradition of networking meeting, and we are inviting Armenians of Riga or Baltics to join this meeting, to get some interaction, to create some new connections. Of course, during this networking meeting, we are sharing some information about our activities done, what we are planning to do. We are giving an open microphone for participants, maybe to share their awareness or what they would like to feel from the Armenian community of Riga. And they always are sharing some new ideas. For example, they would like to have a place where they can gather together, or something like that. But this tradition is quite good, and we have already, during this 1 year, we have organized 3 networking meetings, and another one will be in autumn. And we are trying to invite not only Armenians, but also friends of Armenians from Latvia. And I guess it's a very good platform for future cooperation and for Armenians to stay closer to each other and to help each other as well when you are far away from your homeland.
Okay. Also, one thing I'd like to add to what you were saying is, it's very different that you did mention that you have a small community, but they are not they're more shy. The shyness also comes from the fact that the community is young. You have a very young community, which means that the Armenians living in Latvia are very newly moved to Latvia, which means that their connection with their roots is very fresh, so they don't feel like they're at risk of losing their identity, which means that they do not feel the same need to be surrounded by Armenians. So please don't feel stressed about the fact that your community doesn't feel constantly ready to jump towards everything that you're doing. It's natural, because you have a community that probably has a history of 20, 30, 40 years, which means that they're still first generation Armenians living in Riga, which means that they still are very confident that their identity is very, very crisp Armenian. Manushak?
I forgot.
The question or what you were gonna say?
I forgot what I was gonna say. So first of all, the main activity that we started to do since the beginning of this year is like every first Friday of every month, we are making a youth day. So they're coming the young people that freshly came to Germany to study, and we try to connect them to the youth in Germany, the Armenians grown up in Germany, in order they have the bridge between the country and the diaspora. And the second thing, what I personally do is actually I'm like the data bank of our community. Yeah, so usually connecting people, connecting communities with different problems. I don't know how it happened, but with different problems, I just know where to lead the people to. And in this way, we try to help support the newcomers, first of all, to integrate in the society, to know where to go for the job, for the documents, for everything. So this informative part mainly. Yes.
Thank you, thank you. I just want to check, do you guys can still hear us? Because I know, yeah? Okay, we're happy. It's a very, the garden is very big and beautiful, but the area which we could use is not as huge, which means that sometimes we overlap. My last question is going to be very short, and maybe if there's one or two questions anyone would like to address. My last question is, which is your favorite Armenian word and why?
I don't know if it has proper Armenian roots, but I'm saying it anyways. You'll correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Ocak.
Ocak? Ocak has Armenian. It's an Armenian word, full
Yeah,
Armenian.
Full Armenian, perfect. Which means a home. This is a word full of sense for me because my parents used to always say Ocak, Ocahum, Ocahum, quite of a sacred home, you know, and that it's filled with Armenian love and all our values, our language, our faith, our music, our food, and I feel like Ocak is quite. It's the word that would describe the most the fact of being Armenian to me, and this is what I try to recreate in my place. And if God's willing, when I'll have a family, I'll have this Ocak too. So Ocak would be my favorite word.
To add to your that, I'm sorry for constantly adding to what my guests are saying, but it's something I've discovered when I was in Armenia. I've learned about the etymology of the word Ocak. Ocak in the old days, when I mean old, I mean it dates back to even long before Christianity, since the pagan times, since we discovered Christianity in 301 AD. Ocak was the fire that was burning in each house, literally a fire, which also represented the heat that's being brought to the home. And superstition-wise, they would say that if your home's ocak is not burning, something bad might happen. So Armenians constantly had this fire in their homes because we were in a region that also had very cold winters. So ocak meant the fire that keeps the family and home alive and warm, because heat meant that they're protected, warm, and they can survive. So it's definitely an Armenian word.
I'm
Please
so glad
stick to
hear
it.
that. Thank you.
I'm very happy to have been to Armenia and learned this word, trust me. Yeah, I'm happy to have shared that. Ruzanna?
Actually, I was just trying to figure out which word to mention, but let me start with the word ser.
You want to share that word? Because it feels like you...
Let me comment why ser. Ser, it's love, but also ser.
Said.
Ser is something when we are making coffee.
Okay.
And when you
Nice.
you are putting all your love, all your ser in coffee, and once you are putting the coffee and the water and it starts to boil, and if the coffee runs away, it means, for me, it means that there is no ser there is no love in my coffee. So I'm always trying to stick around the ser in my coffee, in my morning routine. But the second word, actually, I wanted to mention, sorry, it is baref. Because I believe that everything, baref, hello, everything starts with a baref. And I believe that most of us have this so-called Armenian radar. When you are walking around and you feel that this person could be probably an Armenian, and you are just trying to figure out from his, I don't know, from his way how he's speaking or behavior, and just to find some Armenian cliches or something like that. And I'm already so old that I can go and say baref to a person whom I feel that who could be Armenian. And it's like 100% I'm always right. And I believe that everything starts with a baref.
Thank you. Manushak?
So you mentioned my both favorites. By the way, the word barev has a very special meaning because it's the combination of bari, kindness, and arev, sun. So I guess the two main points of which keeps us alive. That's why it's a very special word for me. But for my third favorite word, I hope you're ready. Handurjogakanutsun.
Manushak, the fact that you're from Germany and you chose that word says a lot about you, because Germany is famous for words that start in one time zone and they end in a different time zone size-wise. So thank you for traumatizing us. I forgot about the existence of that word. Please tell us what it means.
Yes. By the way, to Germany. So yes, the longest word in the world is the German one. It has 68 letters in one word, and it's a point in the law. But I'm not going to repeat it. So, come to Handurjogakanutsun. Sounds long and complicated, but it's a very good word. It stands for consensus. And every time then someone is quarreling or someone has a problem, I say, hey people, stop. Handurjogakanutsun. And I'm like very, it's like I'm a meme in our community already. When someone has a fight with someone, they say, hey, Manu says, Handurjogakanutsun.
So patience.
Yes, patience, acceptance, and tolerance, actually. Yes, it's a very, very complicated, but also a very important and good word, I guess. Very important for me.
Yeah, we're very volcanic people, and we do need a lot of Handurjogakanutsun to actually get along. Armenians are very good at sports that are singular sports. We're pretty bad with teamwork, so it's very, very surprising that we managed to pull off this festival collaborating, because we're very individual people, and so Handurjogakanutsun is definitely a word to mention. I want to mention my own favorite word because the microphone's in my hands and I can do that. And also because I want to tie my favorite word to a word that Romanian language has. And my favorite word is carrot. Yeah, carrot. I will try to say it in Romanian. Dor. It's very interesting that not many languages around the world, and I think the vast majority, do not have a single word, not the combination of words, that describes this longing, this missing of something that you had or remember. You have to combine several words to express that emotional state. Armenians have karot and Romanians have dor, which is a wonderful thing that I've discovered a few years ago, is that this is one thing that our cultures share, is this word that connects us to our roots, to our culture, to our families, to our friends, to people we love. And I feel very, very like this is one of the things that sparks a lot of connection between my Armenian identity and my love and appreciation of what Romania represents for me. So yeah, my favorite word is carot because I feel like sometimes this word is like an endless well from which you constantly put out water and you hydrate your thirst of longing to be connected to your culture, to your family, to your land, to your traditions, and everything that defines us as humans. So yeah, that's a also I take care of I do the graphic design of the event of the festival. My background, because I didn't mention what I do as a living. I'm a graphic designer. I do creative visual stuff, and we get a lot of creative blocks. And usually artists create sometimes from pain, and this dor carot is constantly a source that feeds my own desire to create. So it's something that I constantly go to back, and I go through the cuisine, I go through the food, I go through the music and our identity, our projects, and everything that our culture represents, our arts, and it's a constant way of refreshing my carot, dorul meu, to my roots. Are there any questions? Is there anything you would like to ask our panelists? Probably I can take a question if there's anyone who would like to ask something. If we haven't already covered a lot of things, I'm trying to wrap the session up before. We're not asking the German word. You can reach out privately to Manushak if you want to be shocked by those 60-something letters.
But reminder, she has a plane tonight, so
Yeah, also she has a plane to catch.
Don't start now.
Da?
So I don't know if you have addressed this question before. So my question is, okay, my question: what do you miss the most about Armenia? So related to what you said before about your carrot.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So to re-ask her question, what do you miss the most about Armenia? Trying to hold tears and emotions back. Also, I'd like to mention that tonight they're flying to Armenia to represent their countries at the National Youth Forum, and I'm flying tomorrow to Armenia to represent Romania and our community at the National Youth Forum and to talk about the festival. So I'm taking all your energy with me. But Silva, what do you miss the most about Armenia?
Armenia isn't Disneyland. Well, maybe for us, but I would say the fact that everything seems so familiar to us. Every people you meet, every interaction you have, it's quite like you're speaking to someone who's part of your family. If it's an old lady, then it's your grandma, your grandaunt. If it's some boy, it can be your cousin. I mean, it's the familiar feeling of knowing everyone, of being safe also. Not only safe, I mean, physically, but being in a place where you know everyone's here for you. Kind of, it's less individual, more of being part of a huge community thing, I guess, to be in Armenia, to live there. So yeah, I would say that compared to the big mega city of Paris, where everyone is always so busy and stressed out.
Thank you. Also, I'd like to mention that starting from the end of October, we will have direct flights from Bucharest to Armenia. So please add Armenia to your travel list because I can guarantee you, we have so much in common as cultures. You're definitely gonna feel the heat of our home, and it's gonna be yours too. Yes, Ruzanna?
I would say that I miss. I miss people. I miss this vibe that you are going out from your apartments in Armenia, in Yerevan, and everyone seems familiar to you. Even I don't know the person at the shop or the taxi driver, and you feel yourself like you are familiar with him, and it seems that he or she is interested in your life. She asks some questions. You have this small talk, or you can, I believe, you can solve any question, any issue by knowing different people in Armenia. And that is what sometimes I miss in Latvia, because sometimes some things are not solved in the way like they are solved in Armenia, when I can call someone or someone.
Networking.
Yeah, yes. But that is what I miss, because once I arrive to Yerevan, I know that one of my cousins, one of my brothers, he will always find time to meet me at the airport, and it's very, for me, I appreciate it so much, and that is what I miss in Riga.
Yeah, I constantly add things to what you're saying, but probably one amazing thing I miss the most is my grandparents picking me up from the airport. So I really want to double on that. It's first of all, when you get to Armenia at the airport, the welcoming message isn't welcome, it's welcome back home. And sometimes when you usually land at 4 a.m. in Yerevan and you're very exhausted and tired after traveling the entire day, the fact that you read those words actually, it's really hard to not hold back and almost start crying, because it's the first thing that says you are home. Manushak?
Definitely. And also, I don't know, but there is a saying that Armenia is on a special energy zone. So it means you're just people living there. I mean, they just have this energy that I don't have in Germany, for example. In Armenia, I feel really energized. But the most deep feeling going back to Armenia is like reconnected with myself and my roots and feeling home. That's the feeling.
I feel like the family home energy is a jackpot in our panel with things we miss the most about Armenia. One thing, and probably the first thing I do every time I arrive in Armenia, it's gonna be probably for a lot of you, it's gonna connect with your own roots from the cities from where your families maybe moved to Bucharest, or going back to your grandparents' house. The thing that I miss the most about Armenia is our water. It's the first thing. First of all, in Armenia, you can drink water from every like you can drink sink water. It's very, very cold. It's you don't have to buy bottled water. There are water fountains so water is technically free in Armenia. You can drink water on the streets. Once every few hundred meters there's a water fountain and you can drink, and it's always cold. Also, I don't think that's. It's funny because they're fighting over words, because one is the more elegant word and one is the hood word, which we grew up with hearing. But yeah, it's the water, and most of them, the water comes from the mountains, because we're in a region surrounded by mountains, and the water is always fresh and cold. And yeah, I really, really miss the water. And my favorite place to drink water is the Republic Square. There's a water fountain, a beautiful one, because they're usually carved with Armenian. Most of them are made out of basalt, the stone, and they always have beautiful decorations and ornaments carved in them. And each one of them has its own personality. So the thing I miss the most is our water. Thank you for this really, really heartful question.
Can I add
Please.
just a few words regarding the water? Last year, when we together were in Armenia, I asked my daughter what she would like that I bring back from Armenia to her. Like, I don't know, I was waiting some ponchik donuts from Armenia, or Grand Candy sweets or something like that. But she asked me to take a bottle and to bring water from this pulpulak. And yes, she was like, once I brought a bottle, the small one, she was asking why it's not the bigger and so on. But nevertheless, and once again, now I'm going to Armenia, and I again asked her what she would like that I bring with me back. And again, it was our Armenian water. So it's very interesting. Yep.
It's funny because maybe now that you've verbalized this, I'm literally something mentally slapped me and sent me back to my childhood. And I probably, now that you mention it, I realized it's the thing that I miss the most about my connection with my homeland, and it goes back to my childhood because during summer vacations here in Bucharest, we would used to go to school and then have a few months of vacation. Those days are over because we're all working, and usually summer means festival. But probably it goes back to my childhood because it was the favorite thing. We would go out and play around with other kids and socialize and I don't know, play different games and be very connected with the people. And every time we'd take breaks and run to the closest water fountain to drink fresh water. So now that you mentioned it, I'm realizing that it goes back to my dor, my longingness, my karot of my childhood, which ties to my identity. Yeah, I think this is a very emotionally great place to end this session about roots beyond borders, because that was the highlight of this conversation. Us trying to share our perspective of being Armenians living in Europe. Hopefully next year we will have a session of maybe people from outside of Europe too, because yeah, some of us are from Eastern Europe, you're from the Baltic zone, you're more of a Western Central Europe kind of situation, but it would be really, really nice to see how this Armenian identity managed to maintain itself, and how our struggles and our joy and our love and our hearts beat in different parts of this world. So I'm very, very thankful for the time that you have given to us, and from traveling from Paris to Riga and München to Bucharest, and being part of our story. And I would really, really be honored to have you back next year at our 10th anniversary edition of the Armenian Street Festival.
I already booked the tickets.
Yes, okay, but please get a flexible time frame, because we don't know where the date is. The struggle with picking up a date, because a lot of time people are complaining, why did you put it on in August? We're on holidays. We're really struggling as a cultural festival to pick a date that doesn't overlap with huge major events and festivals taking place here in Romania, and especially in Bucharest. And also we do have this tradition of the first weekend of August. So hopefully the stars will align in our favor next year, and the first weekend of August will be free, and we will manage to meet here in the Botanical Garden, or maybe in some other place. Who knows? It's an anniversary edition.
Oh,
I wanted to add
Yes,
something.
please. This is our outro session.
Oh. By the way, I wanted to thank you for the invitation, especially. It's an amazing event. And coming from a little bit cold country, Germany, directly and indirectly, I mean, like, the feeling of feeling this welcomed was so nice by you, and not only by you, by the way. In every shop where we're going in, saying something in English or other language, oh, how are you? How are you feeling? Do you like Romania? Where are you from? Like, you don't have this in Germany, definitely no. It feels like Armenia, by the way. Very welcomed, very warm-hearted people. Very warm weather and a great festival. Thank you so much for the invitation and giving us the opportunity.
Thank you to the Romanian people as well, because it's my second time here and definitely not the last one. So I'm more eager to discover the rest of the country and the culture, and yeah.
And from my side, thanks a lot, Hrant, Can.
Yeah.
And actually, I was surprised why none of us mentioned the word Can. And let's say Can.
John.
Thank you very much for making this event, for creating this huge celebration of love, celebration of joy, happiness. for creating new synergies, for inspiring us, and all kudos go to our Hrant. And we are looking forward for our ongoing sessions in Yerevan, and wishing good luck for a festival next year as well. Thanks a lot. And
Thank you. Because you did mention me, but I cannot take definitely will not take any of the credit alone, because this event, I'd like to mention, like I constantly try to stop and talk to people on the street, because that's how we started, connecting with people, opening our doors for our Romanian audience and now European audience to join us and discover us as a family, as the Armenian family living here in Bucharest in Romania. This is the hard work of a handful of people. I can count the people that are dedicating their time to this festival on 1.5 of my hand. That's a very, very small group of people that are working on their full-time jobs. And after we're done with our full-time jobs, we connect at the community and we work on this festival that has become like our emotional baby that we have been nurturing and loving and caring. And now it's grown to be 9 years old. And it's the hard work of people that are finding the time and love through that dor, karot, love, and everything we've mentioned to actually give back something to the city that has welcomed us. We're very lucky to have an Armenian neighborhood, an Armenian church. We have a lot of Armenian things, cultural house, a museum. So we're feeling very, very, very grateful for everyone that's allowed us to share some of our love with you guys. So I want to take all the gratitude and I will make sure to share it with the amazing team of organizers and volunteers who are here, and they're constantly doing their best. This is a project based on love. This is not a business for us. Our only business is our love for culture, and we're very, very happy to share this unlimited free resource with everyone that's attending at this festival, which is why the festival is free. And although this year we have started a campaign that's called Strada în povestea ta, păstrează acolo, which is a donation campaign that we have started to make sure that people who don't buy tickets, because we don't have tickets to the festival, but people who want to make us help bring more people to the festival, more workshops, bigger artists, people who want to just support, I don't know, imagine you're buying a drink to anyone from the festival, you're always free to also donate and support to the festival. And if you don't have that, you don't have to actually donate. We're very happy and blessed to be sharing everything that the Romanian government is doing for us, national minorities here in Romania. So we're very, very grateful for your time and love. And thank you very much for being at this session. You're free to join our concerts that have been constantly teasing us during this session. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. And thank you all. Thank you.